One of the things about the 2025 minor league season for the New York Mets, they had some of the best teams in the minor leagues, and we chronicled it all here at the Prospect Channel. And one of the teams that had a very good year was the St. Lucie Mets. This is the preview for this year, 2026, but they had a great year last year. And this is the preview. The St. Lucie Mets had a cumulative 77-53 record in 2025, the best in the Florida State League in 2025. The first half record was 34-31, and they had an explosion in the second half. They had an excellent second half. Over the last few years, the St. Lucie Mets were a particularly great team. That changed last year as the team won the Florida State League East Division with a not exactly dominant 34-31 record, benefiting from an extremely weak division. St. Lucie was the only team in the FSL East to finish the first half over 500. The team had a much better second half, going 43-22. Steamrolling through the rest of the Florida State League and once again won the division. St. Lucie Mets played the Daytona Tortugas in the SSL East Divisional Series, but fell 2-1 in the best-of-3 series, ending their season. St. Lucie had a 20-10 record against them during the season, but Daytona's pitchers stepped up, not allowing more than 2 runs in any of the 3 contests and shutting out the Mets in the clincher. Luis Rivera will be returning as his second year as the St. Lucie Mets manager. Joining him will be Jonathan Craman, who will be serving as bench coach, David Mervis, who will be serving as pitching coach, and Brian Munoz, who will be serving as hitting coach. Craman will be replacing 2025 bench coach Jonathan Jones. Mervis will be replacing 2025 pitching coach Luis Alvarado, and Munoz will be replacing 2025 hitting coach Devin DeYoung. The 2026 season will be the first season that Craman is employed by the Mets prior to joining the organization. The 26th season will also be the first season that Mervis is employed by the Mets. The 26th season will be the second season that Munoz... Okay, I can skip all this. This is not that important. Here's the pitching staff, and I will let you know who to keep an eye on for this season. Luis Alvarez, Frank Camarillo, Nicholas Carino, keep an eye on him. Felix Cepeda, Joe Charles, Jose Chirinos, Jorge De Leon, Ryan Dollar, Joel Lara, keep an eye on him. Tyler McLaughlin, Ernesto Mercedes, Elvis Miaris, Christian Rodriguez, Joe Scarborough, Cam Tilley, he was drafted, keep an eye on him last year. Omar Victorino, Connor Ware, Caden Wooster. On the catching side, we got Chase Meagers, Francisco Toledo, Julio Zayas, keep an eye on him. Infielders Randy Guzman, who we saw in spring training with the Mets. Edison Polino, Elian Pena, that's the big guy. Had to keep an eye on. He might not be in the Florida State League for long. He's 18 years old, coming out of Dominican. Played in DSL last year. He just lit it up. And he had a very first game on Thursday. He did really well. Sam Robertson, Kevin Villaviceno. Outfielders. Who are the outfielders? We got JT Benson, Sam Biller, Simon Wan, keep an eye on him, and AJ Sagado. But the big player here, the guy we're all going to be following all season long, will be Elian Pena, who's 18 years old. He might be, at the end of this season, the Mets' best prospect that they have in the entire system. That's how good he can be. Right now, he's about 11, 13, 14. Once some of these players graduate, once Carson Benz graduates and he's number 1 prospect the Mets have now, once he graduates off the list, Pena is going to go up. By the middle of the season, he will be a top 5 prospect. Elian Pena. You can bank on that. I'm not a betting man, but if you want to bet on something, unless he gets injured, that's what he's going to be. A top 5 prospect with the Mets by the middle of the season. Well, you let me know what you think about this video, and of course, please subscribe to Prospect Hut, and I'll see you later.